Hello everybody, welcome back to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Today we're going to go over the fights for UFC Fight Night. Albazi versus Kara France on Saturday, June 3rd. So kind of a greasy card. It was hard. I'll have to look at things twice, change my mind multiple times. But last week we were one split decision away from getting a 12 fight parlay to hit, which was sad, but it was close. Let's try and nail it this week. It's actually 13 fights this week, so unless something happens. Nevertheless, let's get started. We'll start with the prelims and work our way to the main event, and then we'll go over the board. So let's start. First fight of the night. Felipe Lins versus Max Grishin. Felipe Lins, 6'2", 78-inch reach, 16 wins, 5 losses, 37 years old. Max Grishin, 6'3", 78-inch reach, 32 wins, 9 losses, 2 draws, 39 years old. They're both getting up there in age. I don't see them both slowing down. I think they both look as good as they've looked before. Actually, they might even look. Felipe Lins, who's moved down to the light heavyweight, looks really good. I really like this guy. I always thought he's much better than people give him credit for. Very powerful, can take people to the ground. Seems like he's got a pretty good gas tank, although a couple times you see him fading away when he does a lot of grappling, heavy fights. Max Grishin doesn't seem, he's physically really imposing and just seems like a really solid guy who could take a punch. Very tough, but he doesn't do anything extraordinary. He could take you to the ground. He could take your back. He's very opportunistic. He's got a good counter punch. He doesn't attack and swing wildly. He's very, very precise and reserved and calculated in his strikes. Felipe Lins is the opposite. So Felipe Lins is going to be throwing bombs, and he does get hit a lot with counters. This is I'm picking Max Grish. I even though I like Felipe Lins, and I like picking him, I think this is going to be a really close decision fight, unless Felipe Lins gets caught with a counter from Max. I don't think Felipe Lins is going to put Max out. I don't think Felipe Lins is going to submit Max. Max is very well rounded. It's going to be a really close decision fight. The only way this can end quicker than the decision is if Max catches Felipe with a counter and maybe jumps on him and submits him or ground and pound or something. But they're both tough. Pick's gonna be Max. Mid-range confidence on this one. Not because Max is going to get knocked out or submitted, but because if it goes to a decision, you don't know. And that's what happened last time. We had a split decision with only one fight that we ended up losing. And the judges didn't see it, even though I had thought like the fighter that we had picked had won. So once it goes to a decision, you don't know. So Max Grishin will be the pick. Next fight, Damon Blackshear versus Luan Lacerda. Damon Blackshear, 5'10", 72-inch reach. 12 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 28 years old. Luan Lacerda, 5'7", 71.5-inch reach. 12 wins, 2 losses, 30 years old. Both in their prime. Both. Blackshear seems like he's 3 inches taller. He didn't seem that much taller in the weigh-ins. Maybe a couple inches, but not 3 inches. So the reach is about the same. I'm not too worried about that. I think Luan Lacerda, and both of them are really tough. Both of them are really durable. Both of them are really good underground. I think Luan Lacerda, it might be the more powerful puncher. I think Daniel Blackshear might be the more technical puncher. I think on the ground, Daniel Blackshear has showed that he's got really good ground game. I just think that Luan Lacerda's ground game is better. Looking how he fought against a very motivated Cody Stamann, Lacerda did really well against him, and some people thought he should have won that fight. It was close, really close, and I don't see that kind of great performance against such high-level competition with Damon Blackshear. So just because of that, I think I'm leaning toward Luan Lacerda to win this. in the decision. So the pick will be Luan Lacerda for the win. Next fight, Elise Reed, 5'3", 63-inch reach, 6 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. Jin Yoon Fry, 5'3", 65-inch reach, 11 wins, 8 losses, 38 years old. If you don't look at the stats, 5'3", everyone's always saying that Elise Reed is the bigger, more powerful puncher, striker, just a bigger girl. And Jin Yoon Fry, if you ever watch her in the last fights, she's actually always seems more dainty and more small. When I evaluated this fight, I had bet on Jin Yoon Fry before, and I had lost money with Jin Yoon Fry before. And I just don't think she's very powerful or imposing. So I was leaning towards Elise Reed because of Elise Reed's last fight against Lookbaum. And I had picked Elise Reed. I had gone flip-flopped. I might even flip-flop right now. I had picked Elise Reed to win this fight. I saw the weigh-ins. After I saw the weigh-ins, Jin Yoon Fry just looked bigger, more muscular, and thicker than Elise Reed. She just looked way more imposing than Elise Reed, which is not what I was expecting. So I had switched my pick, you see on the board, back to Jin Yoon Fry. But having said that, even while I'm talking now, I remember the fight with Lukenbaum and how well Elise Reed did against her. Even though Elise Reed lost by submission. I'm still gonna. I flipped my pick from Reed to Jin Yoon Fry. I'll stick with that, just because I don't see that physical, imposing figure. Even Jin Yoon Fry is 38 years old. She's at the tail end of her career. She got knocked out fairly handily by Pollyanna. I think it was Paulina. Just the last fight, very disappointing. So I wasn't going to go with her, but I am going to go with her now, just because I think she's pretty good on the ground, and physically she did not look small compared to Elise Reed, who we're expecting to be more powerful. And I don't know, maybe when they start getting in the cage, that'll come out. But it's a close fight. I'm going to switch to Jin Yoon Fry. She is the underdog. His final pick is going to be Jin Yoon Fry, even though I'd originally wanted to go with Elise Reed. It's the weigh-in face-off. And I also didn't like Elise Reed, I don't know. The way she looked, her demeanor, I don't know if she seemed very confident. So Jin Yoon Fry is going to be the pick for this close fight. Next fight, Daniel Santos versus Johnny Munoz. Daniel Santos, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 20 years old. Johnny Munoz, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 12 wins, 2 losses, 30 years old. Johnny Munoz is good on the ground. He got clipped by Tommy Gravely. And he got knocked out. He didn't look like he was chinny until that point, but I'll tell you who's not chinny, Daniel Santos. He's definitely not chinny. This guy could take some punishment, and like the last fight, should have been knocked out by Sexy Mexi Castaneda, and he ended up coming back after almost getting knocked out like twice in the first round. The guy is tough, and the guy's good on the ground, great scrambles. Johnny Munoz, he's probably got the better jiu-jitsu, but Daniel Santos, no slouch on the ground, can get back up. He's a great fighter to watch. It's going to be a great fight. I got a high degree of confidence in Daniel Santos, and at the weigh-ins, they're about like a couple inches, maybe inch and a half difference in height. Obviously Johnny Munoz got the longer arms. To me, Johnny Munoz looked nervous, if anything, at the weigh-ins. On top of that, I'm going to go with Daniel Santos. Fair degree of high confidence on that one. Anything can happen, but you know what? I hope Daniel Santos wins. He's an exciting guy to watch. Johnny Munoz, I don't know. I don't think he's got it. I think he's going to get killed in this one. Next fight. Anyway, Santos pick. Andrei Arlovsky versus Dontel Mays. Andrei Arlovski, 6'3", 77-inch reach, 34 wins, 21 losses, 44 years old. Dontel Mays, 6'6", 81-inch reach, 9 wins, 5 losses, 31 years old. Here's the thing. Andrei Arlovski, one of my favorite fighters. Well, and he's a favorite for sure, yeah. 6'3", 77-inch reach. He's definitely, he's 44 years old. I mean, the guy has found a way to fight and keep winning. So he's winning against a lower end opponents. Dontel Mays is a lower end opponent, but he's 44 years old, and at some point, when is that chin's really gonna start to get really touchy-feely kind of thing. So this is where I'm always concerned about Andrei Arlovski. Not his physical appearance, he looks great. So originally I had picked Dontel Mays for the possible knockout, just because Andrei Arlovski is 44 years old. He got knocked out in the last fight. I think he's the better striker, more technical striker. I just think Dontel Mays, with his length and with his height, would have enough of an advantage in that to be able to counter against Andrei Arlovski's speed. And I don't think he has to hit him very much to possibly hurt Arlovski. Having said that, I just finished watching the weigh-ins and I flipped my pick. I went back to Andrei Arlovski, even though he's 44 years old. Andrei Arlovski, 6'3". Well, I've met Andrei Arlovski. I'm like almost 6'3", so I'm like 6'2.5", and he was at least an inch taller than me. So he's closer to 6'4". Dontel Mays, at the weigh-ins, he does not look 6'6". Definitely not 6'6". He was probably an inch taller than Andrei Arlovski. So, I mean, the size difference, even though he looked a little heavier, but he's fatter, right? The size difference that I thought was there is not there. So now the advantage I thought Dontel Mays has is not there. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to pick Andrei Arlovski for the decision win. I mean, apart from him getting caught and his chin not holding up, but just the physical difference was not 6'6", 6'3". It was not there. And that's what I'm basing it on, is him having that and the reach says 77 inches as opposed to 81 inches. I mean, I don't even know if that's true anyway. So does he have a 4-inch reach advantage? I mean, he doesn't have a 3-inch height advantage, or does he have, a 2-inch reach advantage? Anyways, I'm not going to go with Dontel Mays. I'm going to go with Andrei Arlovski. Very close fight, but I flipped my pick just based on the face-offs. And I'm going to go with my gut on this one. And this is one thing about having the advantage of having this podcast late is I get a chance to see it, because I do flip it once in a while. And in this case, I just went with my gut. So Andrei Arlovski will be the pick. Very low confidence. Next fight, Johnny Castaneda versus Muin Gafurov. Johnny Castaneda, 5'6", 71-inch reach, 19 wins, 6 losses, 31 years old. Muin Gafurov, 5'7", 68-inch reach, 18 wins, 4 losses, 27 years old. Here, these guys are in their prime. They're about the same height. I mean, the reach advantage is going to get Castaneda, which is going to be great because he is the striker. He's the primary striker of the two, even though Gafurov has a lot of good strikes. Gafurov did have a split decision loss in his Dana White Contender Series against Anglin, I think, who wasn't a great stellar fighter, but apparently, looking into it, he had just flown in. It was a week, he only had a week's notice. He had to fly in from Turkmenistan or wherever he's from, or Tajikistan, and I'm picking John Castaneda to win this fight. I think John Castaneda lost a fight against a very tough Daniel Santos, who he almost knocked out. But eventually Daniel Santos, being just the dog that he is, just wore Castaneda out and just broke him, just kept putting a lot of pressure on him. And I don't think when Gafurov has the same kind of pressure as Santos, because Santos had a striking pressure, and that's what did it for Castaneda, is the striking pressure. I don't think he's going to break under the Gafurov wrestling pressure, but Gafurov can strike. So seeing how it would be interesting to see how much Gufarov has improved, because he has been training in the States with Dvalishvili, and so it's been a year, at least a year or two since his Dana White Contender Series tryout. He's won some fights. I think he's made some massive improvements. I had picked this one as my 50-50, where I'm going to pick both guys because they both have a path to victory. And I usually allow myself one 50-50 where I could do a parlay with each of them in it. And I chose this fight, even though after looking at the rest of them, there could have been like a ton of those, right? But I'm going to stick with this one. So this is my 50-50 because they both have a really secure path to victory. I was leaning slightly toward Castaneda, but Gafarov, I mean, he could pull this off with his wrestling and just pressure. And if he comes in with a big gas tank and a Dvalishvili type of fight, he could just outpoint Castaneda. This is going to be a close fight. It's my 50-50. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Even though there's a few things that I changed my mind. I wish I could have had some other 50, but I'll stick with the 50-50. That's on my board right now. Next fight, Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Nurmagomedov, 5'11", 72-inch reach, 17 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. Is it 17 wins? Yeah. 33 years old. Zaleski, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 23 wins, 7 losses, 36 years old. I really like Dos Santos, Zaleski dos Santos. Very exciting fighter, great strikes. He can knock anybody out. And he's proven it. He's knocked out, what's his name? What's that middleweight? Can't remember. Anyways, spinning heel kick. Guy's explosive. Could knock anybody out. He could knock Nurmagomedov out. I think Nurmagomedov takes a lot of shots. I don't think he's the best striker. He's an okay striker. He's pretty good. Zaleski is a fantastic striker. Very explosive. He doesn't have a lot of volume, but he's explosive. But Nurmagomedov doesn't have a lot of volume either. So I don't think these guys are really high volume guys. Zaleski does have the more powerful strikes. Nurmagomedov has decent strikes, but he's trying to get in and take you down. Zaleski has great submissions. Nurmagomedov has great top control. This is going to be a really close fight. I was very slightly leaning toward Nurmagomedov. Zaleski has taken a long time off. He was caught taking some enhancement drugs. I think that's why he hasn't fought in a year and a half. He is 36 years old. I mean, he's not super old. This is a good pick. Zaleski to fight doesn't go the distance, or knockout decision, no action kind of fight. Because I don't think if Zaleski can beat Nurmagomedov in a decision, I think he's going to have to knock him out. I think Nurmagomedov might win the decision. It's going to be a close fight. I picked Nurmagomedov. I saw the weigh-ins. Zaleski, I mean, they don't even look the same size. Nurmagomedov is the bigger guy. So again, more confident that Nurmagomedov is the bigger guy. More imposing, probably more top pressure. Just overall, Zaleski dos Santos, I mean, he's one of those king of violence type of guys. I mean, like watching this guy fight. I would like to pick him for the knockout, but he's only going to win by knockout. So do I think he's going to catch him? I mean, maybe, right? But slightly towards Nurmagomedov. Not a high degree of, confidence. If you see the board, I mean, Nurmagomedov and Arlovsky are, normally I have the women at the bottom end of my parlays. Well, these guys are actually behind the women. That's how non-confident I am because of the possibilities of Zaleski having that explosive kick or whatever, and then knocking Nurmagomedov down and possibly even winning a decision if he doesn't end up finishing him. And again, Dontel Mays, testing the chin of Arlovsky, not because he's better, but he might catch him. So, I mean, those are the real wild cards here. Nevertheless, Nurmagomedov was the pick. Next fight, Jamie Mullarkey versus Mohamed Naimov. Jamie Mullarkey, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 16 wins, 5 losses, 28 years old. Mohamed Naimov, 5'9", 70-inch reach, 8 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. Same age. You know what? Malarkey, I got it like minus 400. He's actually a minus 450, minus 500 on some of these. It's ridiculous. I mean, Jimmy Malarkey's not even that great. But having seen Naimov in his was it Contender Series, he's not really that impressive. I mean, he's not that good. So I mean, I see why Malarkey is the heavy favorite. But having seen the weigh-ins, I mean, there's no way Malarkey's 3 inches taller than this guy. I mean, he's only probably an inch taller than this guy. So I don't know if there's a 74-inch to 70-inch reach advantage on top of that. So this huge physical, advantage that Malarkey doesn't exist. That's only on paper. So that kind of scared me because Jamie Malarkey is my most high confident pick. I really think he's going to beat this guy because I don't think this guy's that good, and he was that much more bigger than he is. But having looked at the size difference, I mean, I don't even think we should bet on Jamie Malarkey anyway at minus 450. But he was in a couple of my parlays just because sometimes I just do it just to test out what the payout's going to be. But nevertheless, I wouldn't even bet on this fight, even though Jamie Malarkey is my highest confidence pick. I think he should win. I don't think it's worth the risk. I mean, and just seeing the physical difference, which I thought was there, is not there. So, yeah. Jamie Malarkey, high confidence pick. Would I bet it at minus 450? No. But if you want to, go ahead. Not saying I didn't, in the parlay. I'm just saying, really, it didn't make that much of a difference. Probably not worth the risk. All right, main card: Karina Silva versus Ketlin Souza. Karina Silva, 5'5", 67-inch reach, 15 wins, 4 losses, 29 years old. Ketlin Souza, 5'3", 64-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 27 years old. Karina Silva, 15 wins, 15 finishes. I don't think she's left the first round. Very dominant type of fighter. Seen her fight. Really like how she fights. I mean, she can get controlled. She can get taken down, and she can get, outstruck. But she is a good striker, and she's great off her back, and she's she's great on top of you or underneath you. She can get you in multiple ways. Fantastic submissions. So she's never out of it, but she's never gone past the first round. So you wonder what happens if she has somebody good enough where it takes her into the second and third round. Now, Ketlin Souza, first, she's small. She's 5'3" and 64-inch reach. I don't really like that right off the bat. But seeing her fights, she's very dynamic. She's got a good striker, and she doesn't care if she's taken to the ground because she's comfortable being on her back and also getting up. Having said that, do you want to be taken down by Silva, who's such a submission artist? But Ketlin Souza has fought, deep into the fifth round. She's very durable. She's pretty good on the ground. She's not a Karen Silva, but is she good enough to withstand an onslaught from Karen Silva past the first round, second round? And what does Karen Silva look in the second, third round? So I was, I wanted to play, Ketlin Souza badly just because, it would be nice to hit such a big underdog. But overall, looking at the weigh-ins, Karina Silva is so much taller and longer. And I'm going to pick Karen Silva to win this fight. I'm fairly confident that she will, but there is a world where Ketlin Souza survives the first round, and then we're in uncharted territory. So, nevertheless, Silva's going to be the pick. Next fight, Tim Elliott versus Victor Altamirano. Tim Elliott, 5'7", 66-inch reach, 19 wins, 12 losses, 1 draw, 36 years old. Victor Altamirano, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 12 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. There is a height difference. Altamirano, he's got really long arms. There is about an inch height difference. They looked, in the face-off, they looked about the same. Tim Elliott, 36 years old. He's getting to the point where, he might start to look a little older. Victor Altamirano, 32 years old. I think he's still improving. I like Victor Altamar and Tim Elliott. If you watch the weigh-ins, like, I mean, just a bunch of nice, seems like a bunch of nice guys. They were just smiling and just, I mean, they seem easygoing. They like both the characters or the personalities. They seem very nice. So, I mean, you want to see both of them win. Here's the thing. Tim Elliott is really, well, actually, I shouldn't just say, he's really offbeat the way he fights. He fights very awkwardly. Victor Altamirano, he's the same way. But Victor Altamirano also, dips his head and he's got these weird motions. And I think Tim Elliott is fast enough to catch him on some of this because he's been able to get away with it up to now. And Tim Elliott's really good, at getting back up. So Victor Altamirano, if he takes Tim Elliott down, I think he can get back up. I think Tim Elliott might be the faster guy in this case. I think Tim Elliott's going to win this. I think there was some personal issues. Haven't seen at the weigh-ins how good he looked, and I don't know, he seemed pretty happy. I guess he just went through a bad divorce, but I mean, hey, Mackenzie Dern just went through a bad divorce, and she beat the hell out of Angela Hill last time. So maybe it's a good motivator. Nevertheless, also Victor Moreno has a quick turnaround from the last fight he fought. I think Tim Elliott's fought definitely the higher end competition. I'm going to go with a fair high degree of confidence in Tim Elliott to win this fight. Next fight, Jim Miller versus Jesse Butler. Jim Miller, 5'8", 71-inch reach, 35 wins, 17 wins, 39 years old. Jesse Butler, 5'10", 72-inch reach, 12 wins, 4 losses, 31 years old. Jesse Butler was substituted, I think, a couple days ago. Like just now, I just found out about yesterday. So Jim Miller had 3 people he had to fight. I think they switched 2. Now this is the 3rd guy. So I mean, I think that who did he fight? He had to fight Gordon, and before he had to fight somebody else. Anyways, it's getting actually easier for Jim to fight. They're getting more and more desperate. I mean, Jesse Butler is good on the regional scene. Last minute fight. Has never fought the same caliber of people like Jim Miller. He is younger. Jim Miller is 39 years old. He looked a little old last fight against, not Cruz, Hernandez. But Hernandez is a pretty good fighter, and he's been in the UFC for a while. And I can't see this happening with Jesse Butler. I mean, apart from a surprise and some kind of weird ending to this fight, Jim Miller should win this fight. He's ready for the fight. I don't think it doesn't matter who he fights. He's well-rounded. He knows what to do. And, I mean, I don't think he's going to really get surprised. Very tough, very durable. I don't think Jesse Butler is the guy is going to beat him. So Jim Miller is going to be the pick. Fairly high confidence. Nevertheless, let's move on. Next fight. Alex Caceres versus Daniel Pineda. Alex Caceres, 5'10", 73.5-inch reach, 20 wins, 13 losses, 34 years old. Daniel Pineda, 5'7", 69-inch reach, 28 wins, 14 losses, 37 years old. I mean, people can say Daniel Pineda did not look old last fight. So he's 37 years old, looks very solid. He was taking some performance-enhancing drugs. He looked really good on the scales last time. Very powerful, very durable, good on the ground, powerful strikes. He's very much a kill or be killed. I think he's finished all his wins. So it's either he loses or he finishes you. So, I mean, I like the way he fights. And if it was somebody else, I think I would just pick him. I picked him in the last fight to beat Lutz. Alex Caceres, tall, lanky, surprisingly really durable and tough. Decent on the ground. He's lost some fights here and there. I mean, both these guys have a 14 win. Pineda's got 14 losses. He's 28-14. Alex is 20 wins, 13. I mean, these are the best 13, 14 lost guys you're going to see out there. I mean, it's misleading because of all the high level of competition they fought. Both of them have been in the game for a long time. Great fighters, a lot better than their records will show. I think Alex Caceres is going to win this. I think he's going to survive the first onslaught of Pineda because he's pretty tough. And I think once he gets to the second round, That's when he's going to turn it on. I think he's going to win a decision. I think Pineda's going to survive it. I don't think Caceres is going to finish him. I think Pineda's tough, but I don't think Pineda can finish Caceres. So I think it's going to come down to a decision, and I think Caceres is going to win this in the last 2 rounds by outworking Pineda. But he's got to be careful, I mean, of the leg kicks and the possible, power punches, and I guess he's got to watch out for everything because Pineda does have a lot of tools. He's got a powerful punch, he's got powerful leg kicks, and if he gets you to the ground, he's got pretty good submissions. So, and Caceres does have has a bad habit of getting his back taken. Pineda is very dangerous in that position. Nevertheless, I'm going to pick Alex Caceres. And again, if you see him at the weigh-ins, both very gentlemen, very happy people, very nice guys, and just a very good interaction between the two, kind of like Elliot and Altamirano. I mean, I can't say that for all the fighters. Some of them are just a bunch of dicks, actually. So, but then again, they're about to fight, so hey, who cares, right? All right, main event: Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi. Kai Kara-France, 5'4", 69-inch reach, 24 wins, 10 losses, 30 years old. Amir Albazi, 5'5", 68-inch reach, 16 wins, 1 loss, 29 years old. Both about the same size. I mean, Albazi is definitely an inch taller. He might even be 1.5 inches, 2 inches taller. So, I mean, reach is going to be about the same age. And both of them, just one guy's. I mean, if you ever saw the face-up, Kai France has got his tongue sticking out. Amir Albazi's giving the war yell. Bunch of clowns. You guys will have plenty of time to fight this out in the ring, guys. Just relax, Here's my breakdown. Kai France, he's fought a lot of people, very high-level fighters, and he's looked good against a lot of high-level fighters. Amir Albazi has not fought the same caliber of fighters, but then again, you haven't fought him until you fought him, and then you fought him, right? So, I mean, not to take that away from him, he just hasn't had the opportunity. My initial pick is Kai France. Was it my initial pick? Yeah. And, I went back and forth, and after watching, actually I watched a couple fights twice, I'm still leaning towards Kai France. I think he's going to be the better technical striker, even though Amir Albazi is a pretty good striker. I don't think he's fought anyone with the technical skills of Kai France. Albazi's great on the ground. I think Kai France has fought people who are great on the ground, and I think he's survived it. Mind you, against Bontorin, he almost got submitted, and then he ended up knocking out Bontorin, and Bontorin looked like he was controlling him on the ground. I don't know if I've seen Albazi control. Well, actually, he took Figueiredo down and he submitted him. So there is that opportunity. I guess we just won't know until we see, right? So, but having fought Albazi fought Zhumagulov, and Zhumagulov taking the first round from him, and then surviving on the ground, I think Kara France survives on the ground. I have a feeling that looking back at Bontorin looked better on the ground than Albazi. I think Kara France. I'm leaning towards Kara France. Do I have where I have it? Did I change my mind? No. So it's a pick'em fight. I'm going to lean towards Kara France. I mean, there is a path to victory for Albazi, and it's not going to be on the feet. The only way he can win is by basically taking Kara France down and taking his back. Kara France can get controlled on his back from the back. Bontorin did that to him, which he eventually knocked out. Bontorin, who knows? Bontorin could have, if he didn't get knocked out, then, I mean, he could have that loss on his record. Albazi, he's a good striker. He's not a caliber of Kara France. I think Kara France is also, his ground game is improved. His get-up game is improved. I'm going to lean towards Kara France. Amir Albazi does have a path to victory, and that's going to be on the ground. 5-round fight. I've seen Amir Albazi gas in the 3rd round against Zhumagulov. after a really tough 2 rounds. I'm going to go with Car de France on this one. It's going to be a good fight. I mean, they both got their own paths to victory. I don't think Albazi is going to be through striking. He's going to take Car de France down and control him. That's his either submit or get enough control time to win the rounds. That's going to be his path to victory. But Car de France, good takedown defense, good gas tank. I just hope, I'm more concerned about him starting his clothing line and his focus now on the UFC. I'd be more concerned about that than the rest of it. As long as he still wants to be champ, he's going to do well. But if his mind is not on the UFC and fighting, then that would worry me more. But Car de France will be the pick. Let's go. Let's do the board. How's that board look? How's that board look? Looks good? All right, there we go. All right, here we go. So, high probability malarkey. I mean, he's fighting a guy that's not that good. I think he was a late substitution. He was supposed to fight another guy who was just going to destroy him. It was that one the Georgian Viking, who would have just kicked the hell out of malarkey. So he actually got a break, not getting his ass kicked. But this other guy, I mean, like I said, the size difference I didn't like. I have minus 400. The fact is, it's minus 450 to 500 on a lot of sites. Not even worth the money to bet on. I put him in a couple of parlays, but I left him out on a few. Individually, not worth betting on. So, again, all this, not financial advice. Bet what you can afford to lose. This is only suggestions of who I think are going to win, what I would set up as a parlay from most confident to least confident. Again, take who you like and then use them in your own parlays or bets. But this is my order of most to least confident. Santos, fair degree, high confidence to win. Elliott, high degree of confidence to win. Miller, he moved up. High degree of confidence to win. Lacerda, now we're getting into the mid-range. He should beat Blackshear. Caceres should beat Pineda. Grisham should beat, what's his name? Lino? Is that it? What is it? Lino? What's his name again? Lino. Linz. I think of Lina. Linz. Car de France. I'm picking him to win. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating Albazi, but, I'm going with the fact that Albazi hasn't fought anybody this good and of how he looked against Zmagulov. So I'm going to go with that. Silva. Again, I usually have the women at the bottom end of the parlay because of how many times they go to a decision. It's unknown, even though Silva hasn't gone to a decision. But anyways, we're going to leave her there. This one, a very slight lean. I had Reed. I didn't like the weigh-ins. I didn't like her, how she looked, her demeanor. Frey looked really big, really, really solid. I mean, I switched to Frey. Might have made a mistake. I don't know. I have actually a parlay with Reed in it because I already had made some. And then afterwards, when I saw it, they're like, oh, man, I think Frey she looked like she's going to win. Nevertheless, final pick will be Frey. Nurmagomedov, slight lean towards him. Still think he's going to win. Again, Mays, 50+%, where it's, I was counting on Mays maybe hurting Arlovsky with his size and length. After seeing the weigh-ins, I switched it to Arlovsky. So, nevertheless, the 50-50 will be Castaneda, Gusta, Gafurov, where if you do make a parlay, just have one with each or don't have them at all. Nevertheless, like I said, pick who you think, take all this information, use it, maybe do some more research for yourself, go with your guts, go see the weigh-ins and the face-offs and see what you're thinking of each fighter. So yeah, And don't forget, I got a link, Bet Online 50% deposit match. They got the most amount of prop bets for the MMA. Also, buy me a coffee if you like the content. Feel free to buy me a coffee. All right. There you go. This was a very, very greasy card. I mean, kind of like last week, but last week we almost nailed it. Oh, it was so close. One judge, even though I thought we should have won. Nevertheless, good luck, everybody. If you like the content, hit like. It would help with the algorithm. If you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. You'll get notifications when I put out the next video. Otherwise, good luck, and we'll see you on the recap next week.